Hello everyone, my name is Chin Valdez and today we're going to be talking about our PVE Swordmaster build for Dragonist Mobile Classic. So for the Swordmaster, in my opinion, it's better to go for the magic build when it comes to PVE. The magic skills have a lot more AoE, you can use them at range, and the less time you focus on dodging means you focus more time on attacking. So that's something that a lot of players tend to overlook when it comes to these kinds of games. That the more time you have to invest in being more defensive when it comes to dodging and so on, is less time for you to be attacking instead, which actually results in lesser overall DPS. So in my opinion, when it comes to PvE, it's much better to go for the magic build just because of the range and also the widespread AoE. So at the time of recording, the server level is currently level 32. We have maxed out Moonlight Splitter here, which is going to be one of our main DPS skills. I have a level 1 Cyclone Slash, which we primarily use just for crowd control. I have a maxed out Crescent Cleave, or at least maxed out for the current level we're at. Next level is going to be at level 35. So this is also going to be one of our main AoE damage skills. And of course, our most powerful skill, which is the Half Moon Slash. Now, I still keep one level of Dash Flash into Dash Combo. So I use this pretty much for clearing trash mobs. So these are for the small orcs. This is very effective for those. It has very small cooldown at 5 seconds. I also keep one level of Eclipse. It's for grouping. I have one level of Provoking Slam, which applies a debuff on enemies wherein they take 20% more damage from all instances, meaning your own damage as well as your teammates' damage. And I also have one level of Brave. So what Brave does is it slightly reduces the enemy's super armor attack power, meaning they'll slightly have less chances of breaking you out of your skills or interrupting your skills. But more importantly, it allows you to deal 100% more damage for its duration. So the additional damage duration is 8 seconds. So for that whole 8 seconds, everything that you do deals double damage. So normally what I like to do is I pop off a Provoking Slam to start off, I use Brave, and then I throw out my most powerful skill, which is Half Moon Slash. And there's no real direct combo that you have to go for. You kind of just press everything when it's off cooldown. You know, you use Moonlight Splitter, which has a very short cooldown. That's why it's pretty much your main damage skill. Deals a lot of damage from range with a very short cooldown. So especially in long extended fights, this is definitely the skill that will deal the highest overall DPS. Now, I didn't really opt for the physical skills here on the left because these are going to be physical attack power based, and our build is generally going to be focused more on magic for PvE. There isn't really any need for too much skills to fill in the gaps. We have pretty short cooldowns overall, and some of our skills have pretty hefty casting time anyway. So usually the skill cooldown loop is pretty smooth anyway. So we don't need to use these physical skills to fill in the gaps, and they wouldn't be as effective anyway because we're building for intelligence and not strength. Now here, I want to talk about a very powerful skill called Parrying. The initial passive skill blocks 100% of damage, but only at the 9% rate here at level 1. Now, the very OP skill is called Parrying Stance, which is its active skill version. So with a 45-second cooldown, you enter an evasion stance which blocks 100% of damage for its entire duration as long as you are not attacking. So let's say you're just running around, you're standing around, bosses throw in whatever strong, powerful attacks they have, you will be blocking 100% of damage. So this has helped me so many times, especially on the Cerberus Hell runs or any dungeon run for that matter. So this has been extremely helpful defensively. Increasing its level also increases its duration. For PvE, I didn't really get Counter Slash anymore as we'd primarily be using parrying against big boss attacks anyway. So I didn't really find too much need for this. It doesn't deal too much damage, and for fighting the bosses, we're going to be dishing out our big skills anyway. Now for aerial combo, it's pretty cool. It looks fun. Thing is, when you're running the magic build, you're pretty much going to be strafing and kiting from the bosses anyway. So there's not really going to be too much opportunities for you to be in the air to run aerial combo. And in my opinion, the skill points is just going to be better spent elsewhere. So these are my Swordmaster skills for right now, at least. For the level 32 server level, we get unlimited resets anyway, so we'll probably reset some later on. But for now, this is generally what I have on right now for my Swordmaster skill. For warrior skills, it's not too complicated. Of course, you would be going for all your passives like the tumble, your dash. Dash increases your movement speed as you level it up. Tumble reduces cooldown when you level it up, so it's very helpful. This is your dodge and it gives you iframes or immunity frames. Aerial evasion is also nice. It allows you to recover after being knocked back in the air. Physical mastery and mental mastery increases your HP and MP. Mind conquer increases your mana recovery. Relieve is also very strong in dungeons. So there are times where you get slowed, you get frozen, and all of these other debuffs. This instantly removes all debuffs. So this is also very strong. Now for offensive skills, we didn't even touch Impact Punch. We're not going to be using this. This is really more of a PvP skill. And I just maxed out Impact Wave. Impact Wave because it's the only magic attack scaling skill here in the warrior skill tree. And also Circle Break. Now Circle Break also has a pretty respectable AoE. It deals a lot of damage. So it's pretty good also for clearing trash mobs. And for the time being, I just put additional skill points into Heavy Slash just to get the 40 skill point requirement on the warrior skill tree for some of our Swordmaster skills. Now for skill configuration, this is primarily how I have my skill set up here right now. So I have my buff and my debuff over here alongside our big skills, which are going to be Crescent Cleave and also Half Moon Slash. I have my other spammable skills here, and I also have our defensive skills here, which are going to be the parrying, stance, and the relieve. Now, in case I would need fillers, I just put them in our combo config, so I wouldn't have to switch between skill page 1 and 2. Like I mentioned, our cooldowns aren't too long. Some of our skills have a little bit of cast time. So it's pretty smooth. The whole skill rotation is pretty smooth. So we wouldn't really have too much need for fillers. But for some instances where we would need them, I do have my Impact Wave over here, which combos after my Cyclone Slash. And I also have my Heavy Slash over here, which combos after my Eclipse. Now, this is how I have my heraldry set up. We're primarily chasing down intelligence and agility. So that's going to be for our damage. As a Swordmaster, you're primarily a damage dealer. So intelligence will increase your overall damage, agility will increase your critical stat, and the rest into defensive stats like vitality, HP, defense, magic defense, and whatnot. Now for skill heraldries though. Of course, we get the damage boost for our main damage skill. It's going to be Moonlight Splitter, Crescent Cleave. But for Half Moon Slash, I opted to go for casting time speed instead of damage boost. I think it's very important that we get out that Half Moon Slash right away because it has a pretty long casting time and that's enough time for bosses to actually interrupt your casting time. So I think getting it out much faster is more important than the 10% damage bonus we get. And Cyclone Slash is actually one of the lesser damaging skills that we have in our kit. So instead of going for the damage boost on Cyclone Slash, I opted to go for Brave instead and reduce its cooldown by 10%. So Brave has a pretty long cooldown, but it's very powerful. It doubles your damage, increases your damage for 100%. So anything that you cast within the 8 seconds, its damage is doubled. So it's very powerful. I think this would increase your DPS much more than going for the damage boost on Cyclone Slash. So this is what I went for instead. The cooldown reduction on my Brave skill. Later on, when we unlock more skills and we also unlock more heraldry slots, I'll increase my magic defense for more survivability. I'll probably also get the Great Wave damage boost heraldry. And then I could probably increase the damage of Cyclone Slash. But right now, these are my priority stats and skills for my heraldry set. So same thing with the accessories. Normally, I try to chase down the same stats that I just mentioned earlier. So we're going for more intelligence, agility, vitality. We also have agility, intelligence here, magic attack, intelligence, magic attack, and agility, vitality. You try to get as much intelligence and agility as you can get. So you increase your crit, you increase your magic attack, just to be able to deal as much DPS as you can, being the damage dealer of your team. Now, I haven't really gotten the rundown on equipment abilities, and I'm not exactly 100% sure how it is that we generate these. But if you guys are watching right now and you know exactly how to generate these suffixes here in Dragon Nest Mobile Classic, please do let me know in the comment section down below. But I'm sure you'd want something like this. So this one is the wind ability. So there's a 20% chance of applying a debuff on enemies, which makes them take 12% additional damage and reduces their critical resistance by another 12%. So these are some powerful suffixes or equipment abilities, but I'm not 100% sure how you get them. So please do let me know in the comment section down below. So for unlocking potentials, it's the same thing as we've always been talking about. Try to go for more intelligence, more agility, more crit. Maybe try to go for damage boost for your damage skills if you can. But it's pretty much overall the same. Go for more intelligence, agility, crit, magic attack. So those are going to be your main priorities as a DPS. Now, as of recording, I'm actually out of Cerberus runs for the week. So let's pop into a Minotaur nest run just to give you a quick showcase on how we run our Swordmaster and its skill rotations. Now, if you've made it this far and you've enjoyed the content, consider liking and subscribing. Now, if you're new to Dragoness Mobile Classic, I've also made a beginner's guide video that covers a few of my tips and tricks, maybe some basic knowledge about the game that could probably give you a head start or at least get you started with Dragoness Mobile Classic. Now, turn on that notification bell so you don't miss out on our new videos. Hope to see you all on the next one.